There we're going forward. Just one shot on target over the two legs, and they lose 7-0 on aggregate. Wow. Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson with you inside our One Soccer studio. To be honest with you, I'm really, really surprised. And this is why. I mean, this is the champion of the Canadian Premier League, the North Star Cup holders, playing what we believed out of the three CPL teams in this competition, having the best opposition to face, or the best draw, playing Nashville, who, just like Atlético Ottawa, are just starting their season. And yet they came out and probably were the worst of, I don't think it's a debate, were the worst out of the three CPL sides in this competition this year by some margin. I didn't expect them to go on and win this tie, but 7-0 on aggregate, this has to be seen as a significant disappointment.
Yeah, to lose in this magnitude really is. It was an underwhelming performance. I mean, you could look at the first leg in the first half of making passes and they look up for it, and some might say playing with carriage wheels, but I look at this fixture and this matchup, there's no reason that this should be a 7-0 gap. I get it. Certain players, you look at Mukhtar that makes certain dollars compared, but this is Nashville B team.
He didn't play.
This is their B team.
Callahan made 10 changes from the weekend.
This should not be a 5-0 gap in between these two teams with one shot on target. The Atlético Ottawa that we've grown to know from last season is better than this. This is a very underwhelming result from a team that we expected a little bit more from.
Yeah, look, the young defenders on this team and the young group did very well last season. They were outstanding, not just outstanding in terms of the outcomes, they were an outstanding team to watch. That's why watching tonight, there were so many times, and I'm assuming you the same at home, where we saw an attacking player get on the ball around midfield or somewhere in Nashville's territory, and the ball, instead of turning with space and attacking, it was like playing it safe to go back. Like, let's just hope that this is very much just really, it kind of is an extension of the preseason. My concern about Atlético Ottawa, though, is you lose Salter, you lose Rodriguez, you lose Ingham. Like, these are important players for this team.
Kevin
DeSantos had a really, really good year, and the players that have come in haven't really shown anything at those critically important positions. That's what would be concerning for me, because if you lose players of that quality, these were all excellent players, the recruitment needs to be good enough to maybe not punch the same weight, but at least in a similar category.
Chemistry is such a vital component to a team, and like how you want to create and how you want to go forward. But their intent to create over the two legs just wasn't apparent. It wasn't there. And so what we've grown to love about Atlético Ottawa is that when they do go forward, you can talk about David Rodriguez and Sammy Salter, but they played attacking football. They are set up to play attacking football, but they didn't attack. They weren't threatening. And I get it, you're playing on a national side that might be better than you on paper, but I was still expecting a team to go forward and try to create. They didn't do that over the two legs.
Does it change the way that you look at Atlético Ottawa, the title holders, heading into the new season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, we're going to look at them. We have Vancouver FC, and we had Forest to take a look at as well. But this side, and I said it before with Mahir, he wants to play attacking football. But if you don't have threats, you can't continue to play that way. And you already mentioned the fact that the players that they lost, the players that have come in aren't even close right now from the two games to that form or that level that they need to be at to be threatening. The Canadian Premier League, when I played in it, and even now, physical league, sprints, runs, like everyone is aggressive and everyone can go and punish you on the day. This team doesn't look like a team that's ready for that. So I hope in this time, over the next 6 weeks, that they really take that into consideration, and they might have to bolster the squad.
Yeah, you're going to give Mejia the benefit of the doubt. Like, he's a really good coach. They still can keep the ball, but what can they do with it? That's what's going to be critically important. Do they have the right players that they brought in, recruited this offseason, that are going to help them take this project forward? So, intriguing, to say the least. Ottawa will be putting this in the rear-view mirror very quickly, but it's looking forward for Nashville. They go on to now take on Inter Miami. What a second-round tie that is. We could also see Vancouver Whitecaps. We're going to bring you their second leg against Cartagena's. Tomorrow night, they could play the Seattle Sounders. So those are two all-MLS ties that we'll be looking forward to. By the way, immediately following our post-match show, we're going to join LAFC in action as they take on Real España. I mean, the fixture's just about done and dusted, but 4 Canadians in the starting 11
Love
tonight.
to see it.
And obviously Marcos Santos, a Canadian manager as well. Your Gatorade performance of the match. Whoop, whoop! He was good over the 2 legs.
Yeah.
Rubens Pasillas scored a goal, and it was involved in 2 others.
Is his activity in the box right here, just asking for that cross, gets a header on it. Yes, he doesn't score the goal, but it's off the post. He's efficient in the box. He's looking for an opportunity. He's an opportunist. And yes, when he gets those opportunities in front of goal, he's putting them away. And that right there, that is from his rewards, from just being around and being in the right position.
Staying active. Like, look, Sam Surge is the number 1, just in terms of the number 9 on Nashville. Like, class player, spent time in the Prem. But the way that he's played, I think he showed BJ Callahan that he can fill a role. And what we've seen with other young Canadian players like Jason Russell-Rowe,
yeah.
it might be a secondary role, but it's an all-important one. And when opportunity knocks, you need to answer.
Oh, and I think it also suits him. 30 minutes left in the match. There's ample room for you to play a ball chipped in behind. You get Pasillas on there and you get him in rare form. Nashville is looking like you have a player that can really be of consequence to the team.
We've always liked the player.
Yeah, for sure. Rate him highly, and he's developed and he's growing. You can see that in his game.
Canadian, top Canadian. Another Canadian goal scorer on the night was Jordan Knight, Mississauga's own Jordan.
I rate him. This pass though is just sublime. But look at this. He has the speed. The timing of the run was perfect though from Jordan Knight right here. And look, just takes that touch, head up, goes opposite power over accuracy. But look at this. I'd say this to people all the time. You do not score unless you shoot on target. Have a crack, and he does, and he ends up being the benefactor here.
The goalkeeper gives him a gift. Wow. Went straight through him, but won't take away from that moment. Special moment for Jordan Knight, just really launching his professional career. Has done it the long way, and yet another Canadian to watch across Major League Soccer for this season. That was your Volkswagen moment of the match. Your Walmart delivery of the match came on the 4-0 goal. It was a good set piece delivery. Acosta to Mayer into the back of the net.
Just that near post run by Mayer is beautiful. Just runs right across the face of Balou Tabla. He's the first guy in that line. Should probably step forward, and that's the area right there, near post. It's a flick on almost, I would say, and just it gets it on target right there. Innocent, just those steps that he takes to the left leaves him for dead, and then he's not able to push that to the right. But again, Mayer to get that across, and the ball from Acosta, that is a beautiful set piece. And BJ Callahan, he loved he was cheering very much so on the sideline for that one.
Let's hear from Atlético Ottawa's captain, Manny Aparicio, and his thoughts on what was a really tough loss tonight. 5-0 in the night, 7-0 on aggregate. Let's hear what Manny had to say after this one.
Manny, in the end, a tough night. What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, just a tough night. Yeah, you know, you give these guys half an inch and they put 5 on you. We regroup, we get better. Obviously, we had a lot of turnover, so we're still kind of learning how to play with each other and what we got to do. So it's a good wake-up call for us. You know, nothing's going to be given this year.
You mentioned the turnover. Let's go there. I know you won't call it an excuse, but it's a fact. You've lost quite a lot of attacking players. How difficult was it to get that kind of gelling going in the early part of this season?
Yeah, it's always tough. It's always tough. You know, we always have turnover in CPL. There's a lot of movement, I think, every year. So it's something, you know, we should be a little bit more used to. But again, you know, you also see the difference in how the teams punish you here, right? You give them one chance and it's in the back of the net. So it's a good wake-up call. It's a good learning curve for a lot of these guys that a lot of the young guys want to get to this level, right? So we learn from this and we get better.
Away from the goals, you seem to play quite well. Is it one of those where you're disappointed in the way that some of the goals went in?
Yeah, I mean, we still stuck to our style, even after a few of the goals. You know, our mindset was still to play our game and keep on dictating the game and having possession. We knew their style is counterattack and catching teams off guard. And unfortunately, we weren't really ready for that. A couple set pieces as well where we got to get better. But again, you know, learning curve. We take all of this, we regroup, and we get better from here.
I know it's not easy, but last one for you. You're still a club from Ottawa, making your first ever game outside of the country, and you captain them tonight. Is there a little bit of pride there that you can look at the club where you've come from?
Yeah, it's bittersweet because I played in the past tournament that we had here. So obviously to get to this stage is huge merit for us. You know, we deserve to be here. We won last year and we had a great year. But again, you know, it's bittersweet just because of the way it went down. But yeah, we live and learn and we get better.
Thanks, Manny. Safe trip back to Canada.
Thank you. Thanks, KJ.
Well done for Manny Aparicio. Not easy going out in a moment like that, but I mean, he's not going to say it, but we can say it here. Once again, the turnover, it happens across the league, like across all leagues, but it's about who you replace those players with. And that's going to be the big question. Our first impressions of the new players who have come into this Atlético Ottawa side haven't been passing grades over the course of 2 games. Like that's just a fact. And that will be the biggest question that will linger until the CPL season kicks off.
And then the next question is, how long does it take for Mejia, if he sees these players underperforming or not scoring or not attacking, what do you do? I know Mejia, and we could see he knows football, and it'll change what he needs to do. But everyone talks about this attacking style, and I'm looking at this Atlético Ottawa team. You might have to tinker a few things, and they might not play the same type of way. That blueprint that Nashville did, which is their B team, respectfully, just sitting back, Forge did it to Atlético Ottawa last season. Now there's a target on their back, right? They know, okay, if you go and press them, they're going to play through you. So now teams are going to sit back and do it. If they're going to play games like that throughout the year, it's going to be a very long season.
And the difference is no Rodriguez, no Salter.
No players to unlock that.
And no Ingham.
Yeah.
To provide any kind of safeguard. So, tough one for Atlético Ottawa. Plenty of questions. I'll tell you what, the rest of the Canadian Premier League will be looking at that saying, you know what, maybe this isn't the team that we faced last year. And look, 4 teams make the playoffs this upcoming season, the CPL. So times are changing. The game moves fast, as they say. 55% possession. Ottawa completed more passes than Nashville. They stuck with 91% possession or pass accuracy on the night. That tells you the story. Look at that left-hand column for Nashville. Efficient.
I would love to see a statistic about possession like 30 yards from your opponent's goal. That's where your effect change.
Where the heat map is.
The heat map.
They're frozen.
The heat map needs to be hot right around the goal. That's where the focus needs to be.
Yeah. Let's go back to Geodis Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, where our very own Christian Jack is standing by. KJ, what are your, Jordan and I shared our thoughts. Just have to be honest. Like, this was nowhere near to the standard that Atlético Ottawa set last year. And the players that they brought in just really failed to kind of deliver here of these 2 legs. What did you see from your perspective?
Yeah, difficult night, no question about it, for the reigning Canadian Premier League champions who just won that title just 3 months ago. But when you look at them tonight, they're not only wearing a different color, they're almost a very different version of themselves already. It's the true nature of what is the off-season in the Canadian Premier League. They already knew going into that final that Sam Salter was going to Sweden and David Rodriguez would play his last ever game. 2 players at that level that are incredibly difficult to replace. Not only do you have to try and replace them, you then only get to play the first games of the season, the second games of the season against MLS opposition in places like this in the true premier competition in North American club football. So a really difficult one. I'm very hesitant to judge and come to quick analysis on a lot of these players. Just a few things from me. The goalkeeper really struggled tonight, and I think Canadian Premier League teams, particularly when you think of Forge playing them in the first game, they'll look at that and go, we've got to test this player right away. There's a lack of presence there. He may well go on to be a very good player for them in the Canadian Premier League. Didn't have a good game here, and maybe some questions in the first leg as well. The other one is Garcia. Now, Rodriguez wore number 7 and was marvelous for them last year. He wears number 7, and we're not saying he's the next David Rodriguez, but if he's truly going to be that playmaker, is he going to be asked to play in that wide fullback role in the system that they play? Because if you are playing as a winger and a wide player in this system, you are effectively a fullback. And he played as a fullback in these 2 games when you don't get the ball. He's not a fullback, he's a forward. So how do they make sure that they can maybe change that system a little bit to get more out of him going forward? So some early question marks is what happens in February football. But overall, I think they'll be very disappointed in the manner of the way the goals went in.
Yeah, it's also who they played. With all due respect to Nashville, They're not Tigres, KJ. They're not Cruz Azul, the reigning champions of this competition. I thought they were very difficult draws for both Forge and Vancouver FC. And this was the one where you're like, okay, Nashville just starting their season. They're playing what is maybe their second best 11. And just maybe the lack of... I think we saw something from Forge in Vancouver in those games, and I'm not sure what we learned or what we saw from this Atlético Ottawa side. And I think that the standards do kind of change based upon the fact how good we saw them, how good they were last season, KJ. Like, it wasn't just the outcomes, it was how they played as well. And this team tonight just hardly resembled the side that we lavished praise on, you said it, just those 3 months ago.
Yeah, completely different team, right? And I think, like as I said, it's not an excuse, but they are facts. That's what I mentioned in my interview with Manny Aparicio. It's very difficult for them to gel. They haven't had that much time to get ready. But, you know, we have to give them time. I do think there's some players there that can make a difference. But as I said, it's very difficult to fill the boots of Sam Salter and David Rodriguez. I don't think anybody would ever expect them to do that with Rodriguez. But Mickelbus has got to be a player that has to be more Sam Salter this year than Monty Patterson. So, you know, this is what I mean. If they're going to bring this player in, then, you know, we didn't see enough of him today. They need a player who's going to, in this system, that's going to have to score double-digit goals for them to contend in the Canadian Premier League. Is he that player? We'll find out. Hopefully for them in the nation's capital, he turns out to be that way. But they did go international again. They didn't necessarily get somebody within the Canadian Premier League circles to try and get those goals. So we'll figure out going forward. But as I said earlier, it feels premature, but I do think overall they'll be very disappointed in the way that they played.
Good stuff, KJ. Enjoy the week in Nashville. There's plenty of fun to find. Go to the Johnny Cash Museum. Do you know what I learned in the Johnny Cash Museum?
Talk to me.
That Barry Gibb from ABBA bought Johnny Cash's mansion.
Oh, wow.
But then they were doing renos to it, and it burnt to the ground. Barry Gibb. That's crazy. That's the stuff you learn in Nashville.
The facts man, Gareth Wheeler.
She Believes Cup, Nashville. That's what it's just. I'm working for Nashville Tourism here. Head down, support the women. She Believes Cup, Canada, Colombia on Sunday. KJ's hanging out down there. I think Mackenzie Barwell's on her way down there. Are you on your way down there?
Nah, buddy, I'm here.
You're in studio.
Right here, baby.
Jordan, part of the studio crew for that. Then the USA in Columbus. Harrison, New Jersey at Sports Illustrated season. What is that? Is that fire?
I don't ask questions, really.
Yeah. What's that lid?
Like
I'm not talking about the player. I'm talking about the fan. 7-0 in aggregate. Ottawa is out.
This is out of man. This is out of man.
Into the box, Shields. She's finally got her goal. Throws it towards goal, and it's in. Ward finds it, shoots. Holly Ward. Alley-do from the flag. Good spot, great header. Will shoot. American. Bar down, beauty.